All right, we're live. Welcome to another episode of the WebCasting Dead, Season 9, Episode 3, Warning Signs. And by golly, they surprised me for a good episode. This was a good episode. I really enjoyed this episode. And we got to address the big elephant in the room. They finally thought about the whole conspirators against Rick with Maggie and Daryl and Jesus after we complained last week about it. They finally brought that up out of nowhere. So so it seems like Maggie and Daryl is going to see Negan, and so let's just get right down to this, right down to this episode.
Yeah, and I was glad that they finally did the follow up because we addressed that last week. We were like, they had this great storyline where they were going to have Maggie and Daryl and Jesus sort of conspire against Rick, and then it's like we thought they weren't going to go anywhere with that. But all of a sudden, at the end of last week's episode, they finally realized, we're supposed to address this particular storyline and this plot line. So
it's like out of nowhere, it's like, oh crap, we forgot about this. We better address it. But I'm glad they finally addressed it.
Yes, yeah, I'm glad I am too. I'm glad that they addressed it, and that they are going to make it part of the storyline.
For at least probably the next 2 episodes, because
I think so.
That's only how long they can draw this out, since they're killing off Rick and everything.
Well, are they killing off Rick though? I mean, there's still some speculation that the helicopter may come into play, and that the helicopter may come and pick Rick up. Yeah, that's something we're going to get into as far as the A and B thing with Anne, aka Jadis.
Yeah, and which is, I'm glad they got into that with Jadis and Father Gabriel.
That was very interesting. I was one, because it really, you could say it made. I thought it made for a much more interesting storyline with Jadis and Gabriel, as far as Jadis has kind of almost gone back to her old ways, because she addressed herself as Jadis when she was on the radio, if you remember.
Yeah.
When she called on the satellite phone, whoever she was talking to.
Yeah, she was talking Jadis to a guy, some guy.
Yeah.
Who we assume that it's the whole helicopter people, and that's who she's talking to.
Yeah. And she said, she asked Gabriel, "Are you an A or a B?" And we're now the question is, what do they mean by A and B? What exactly? What is A and B? Now, Trev Chan too said, does it mean alive or bitten? Now that was speculation on his part. I mean, he wasn't saying that's what it meant. He's just saying that maybe that's what they were talking about. So who knows?
Yeah, and they said also that A could mean alpha and B mean beta.
Beta, right? Yeah, alpha or beta. Yep.
And
I heard that. I heard that speculation also. Yeah.
Yeah, and we saw back when she kidnapped Rick, she put an A on the container that he was located in.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. She did.
And Rick is pretty alpha. He is an alpha male.
He certainly is. Yeah, he really is. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. Yeah, I think we're going to find out. Obviously, we're going to see
Yeah.
how this storyline resolves.
Mm-hmm.
I think she said, "Well, obviously, Gabriel, you're a B," and she knocked him out with a pistol.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
See, she
and
went back. She went back to the junkyard. I think, oh,
yeah, she
this is
did.
interesting. Yeah, I'm wondering. Like I say, I'm wondering how that storyline is going to carry out. You know, what's going to happen with Father Gabriel?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the reason why she went back to the junkyard was because earlier in the episode, they accused her of kidnapping and killing Justin.
Mm-hmm.
And we find
Yeah.
out, which I'm glad they follow up on this whole who about Justin. Well, we don't get to know who got him, but they actually follow up on it, which I was glad they did that because I was kind of worried they probably left it onto the in the back for an episode or two and then come
Uh-huh.
back to it. But I'm glad they followed it up somewhat about it. We
Well,
still
I
don't
mean,
know who killed him.
initially we don't know, but we do find out at the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
But initially, I mean, we saw we saw that Justin had, was of course turned into a walker. He gets up, and we see spray paint on the wall. Final warning. Now, I initially thought, is this the introduction of the Whisperers? That's what I was wondering about. Is this the
Mm-hmm.
introduction of the Whisperers? I thought perhaps this was them giving a warning about there being, because the Whisperers are very territorial from what we understand about them, and I thought perhaps it was a warning of some kind from the Whisperers.
Yeah, I still think it's the Whispers because the Whispers is going to play a big role this season, and I really do think it's going to be the Whispers who um, probably kidnapped Justin. As for the helicopter, that might be the Whisperers too. I was leaning towards not the Whisperers, but I'm thinking that's the Whisperers too, because of the whole A and B stance.
Well, yeah, but that might be a red herring as far as we think it's the Whisperers. It might be
Mhm.
something else because there's supposed to be another group called, I think, Magna. I think they're called.
I
If you look
think.
at the if you look at the Wikipedia page for season 9, there's another group which is also supposed to be introduced at some point. Um,
Yeah, I'll look that
but
up.
that they may be the ones who are involved with the helicopter. Um, Now, one thing. I mean, this episode was kind of a who done it type deal because
Hmm.
you had Rick and the group and everybody trying to figure out who could have done this, who could have grabbed Justin like this. Now we see Maggie in a horse-drawn carriage with an Asian fellow. I think
Hmm.
that may be Cal. I mentioned last week. It might
Yeah,
be
that
Cal.
is Cal. That has
Well,
to
it
be Cal.
is. That's Cal.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he was in the wagon with Maggie, and then there's Scott out like a savior,
Mhm.
who one of the saviors who's upset. It's like, where's Justin? We don't know where he is. And Maggie and Cal are bringing supplies. And they have some tomatoes in the back, and the guy grabs a tomato.
Mhm.
And a tomato also plays a part in an interesting scene in this episode where Rick gets a fresh ripe tomato, puts it on Carl's grave,
Hmm.
and we get to see him having some fun with Michonne and Judith. I thought that was cute. That was a cute
Yeah, that was good.
series
That was
of
great.
scenes. Yeah.
Yeah, a little montage of Michonne and Judith. I think that was sweet to
It
see
was.
that.
It really was. Yep. And then he's reading The Wizard of Oz to Judith, and then this black guy, his name is Scott. I found out his name is Scott. He's actually one of the few Alexandrians that's left.
Mhm.
The few original Alexandrians. The black
Mhm.
guy. His name is
Yeah,
Scott. He comes up and says, there's been trouble. Justin went missing. Well, they found him. They actually
yeah,
found him, and they had to obviously. Well, he was the one that he was on the road. That they saw him on the road,
hmm
and they had to put him down. Of course, Rick is like, who did this? How did this come about?
yeah, yeah. We see a big brawl erupting between the Saviors and the Alexandrians, I guess you can say.
Uh huh.
And it's like there's now after the death of Justin, there's going to be some more tension between the two groups
Yeah.
because they even said that Rick was their new Negan, I guess you can call it. He's there to help them, to protect them,
Uh-huh.
and now there's going to be a whole bunch of tension riding on Rick, and Rick is going to have to come up with an explanation on why and how this happened,
Mm-hmm.
and he's going to have to deal with the whole uh, fallout between this.
Yeah. We saw Carol trying to step in also to try and stop it all.
Yeah.
If anybody can put a stop to something like that, it's Carol. She's really good at that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Daryl helped out obviously, and Rick rides up on his horse. He's like, "Stop this!
Mm-hmm.
What the hell?" And then there was the scene where two of the saviors kind of confront Rick, and he's pointing a gun at one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot who got grabbed. Somebody got grabbed. Was it Michelle? It wasn't Michelle.
Let's see here. I'm reading that.
Because there were two of them, and they were kind of pissed.
Mm-hmm.
That was Carol. Grabbed Carol. He grabbed Carol.
Oh yeah,
Remember,
yeah,
because
yeah,
Carol
yeah.
took the knife out. And Carol
Yeah.
had a knife. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He grabbed Carol. It's like, yeah, you don't want me doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
not,
yeah. He's
not
trying
with,
to. Yeah, they're trying to bring peace to the group, not turn on each other, which I think is what's going to happen. I mean, Negan, 2 weeks ago has a point. He said that it's not going to last long, and you're gonna see why it's not going to last long.
yeah,
And we're seeing the beginning stages of the whole um, group breaking up.
yeah, we are. But I was thinking, you don't, you might have been able to grab season 1 Carol, but not season 9 Carol.
No, absolutely not. I'd be afraid because she will shoot you right between the freaking eyes and not even think twice about it.
She will. Yeah. No, she wounds the guy, but she doesn't kill him.
Yeah, yeah.
She and then Rick even says, "Put pressure on that." He tells the guy, "Put pressure on that."
hmm hmm
Which, like, you don't want. It's like you're grabbing Carol. Are you
Yeah,
nuts?
yeah. Exactly. It's like she's a tough cookie. You don't want to mess with her. But
Uh-huh.
after the whole group broke up, Rick actually questioned Gabriel where Jadis was, and
Yes.
Gabriel vouched for her and said she was with me the whole time,
Yep. Yep.
and that she didn't do it. But
Uh-huh.
he tells Gabriel to watch out for her, keep an eye on her, and he
Yeah.
does do that. Gabriel does do that.
Because he followed her to the junkyard.
Yeah, he follows. Yeah, later in the episode, he follows it to the junkyard,
Yep.
which that actually surprised me. I thought he wouldn't have the balls to do it, and even Jada said that I thought you wouldn't basically have the balls to do it.
Yeah, but he did. He did.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah. And of course, Daryl, there was the thought. Some would say maybe you did it. Some of the seniors like maybe Daryl did it. You know. And then Arat goes missing. You know, she was kind of Negan's lieutenant. Well, she was. She was Negan's lieutenant.
Yeah. Now, is that the same woman that saw Dwight turn on them?
No, that was Laura. And we do see Laura in this episode, and Laura's trying to help out. Laura is trying to do the right thing in this episode. Yeah. That was Laura. Yeah,
I
remember?
I remember her.
Yeah. Laura was trying to do the right thing in this episode. Laura's kind of come around. Yeah, Laura has come around. I think, oh yeah, that's Laura. Yeah, I remember Laura.
Yeah, because I was like, what happened to her? And then yeah, when you brought it up, yeah, she was in this episode.
Yeah, yeah. I was glad to see her too. Like, oh.
Yeah, I don't think we saw the past. Maybe we did see her, but she wasn't, featured prominent in the episode.
But she was in this episode, yeah. And also Arat. You know, unfortunately, we see what happens to Arat. You know. I think Arat was coming around too. Arat was coming around.
Yeah, let's kind of get to the ending because I love the ending. The ending was so great. So the ending is that Cindy from Oceanside, basically has A-Rod in her looks, and then she basically says that she was the one that killed her little brother.
Yeah.
And she wants revenge for that. And A-Rod started to, cry and break down. And then I'm trying to think exactly what she said. She said that you said, crap, what did she say?
She was talking to Maggie.
No exceptions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, Cindy was like, what did you say before you killed my brother? And A-Rod was like, no, I don't remember. And then Maggie actually pressured her to say that, and she said no exceptions. And then we see Cindy killing A-Rod.
Yeah, Maggie and Daryl, they just basically turn their back, walk away.
Yes. Yeah, Maggie and Daryl let it happen. They let it happen, which was this whole conspire against Rick and all that. This is the starting point of this, which I thought, they should have done this a little bit sooner, but I'm glad we saw it. I'm glad they kept it in there because, we bitched and moaned last week about them not doing it. And now they finally did it. So it's like, okay, did they listen to us or was that the plan all along? But I'm just glad that they did it.
Most likely it was the plan all along.
But I'm just glad they did it.
And what was interesting was, of course, this was, but Arat did admit that, hey, Simon kind of was the one that kind of screwed it up, though. Remember, Simon...
Yeah, and we kind of figured that from season 8 because they talked about that, about Simon going rogue, and that was Simon's idea of killing everybody, and not Negan's idea.
Right. Just like at the junkyard, just like when Simon authorized the Saviors to kill everybody at the junkyard.
Yeah, and Negan actually referenced it in season 8, and he said, you killed them all off just like you did Oceanside. That was not the plan at all. He basically referenced it, and it was Simon's idea. So, and then Simon got paid very harshly for that.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah.
Great.
I mean, remember, Negan's whole thing is people are a resource. And Negan would only kill somebody if they really deserved it. It's not like, what he did to Abraham and Glenn wasn't necessarily. I'm not taking up for Negan, but he does say that people are a resource, and he tries not to kill if he can avoid it.
Yeah, he only kills if it's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
But before but prior to the death of A-Rod, Cindy was talking to Maggie about Gregory and why she executed and why they went along with Rick's rules, and until Maggie executed Gregory, and then after that moment, Cindy has been killing the saviors that's been
Mm-hmm.
responsible for wiping out Oceanside. So it seems like yeah, so it seems like we do find out that Cindy was the one that killed Justin.
Yes, I believe so. I think she was responsible for that.
Mm-hmm.
Although, now the spray paint on the wall, that might have been the whispers. That might have been the whispers.
Let's see
Spray
here.
paint on the wall.
Yeah, I was gonna rewatch the episode, but I didn't get a chance to. And I'm looking at the Wikipedia page of the episode, and it seems like when Daryl and Maggie goes to the final warning building, they find Cindy and the group from Oceanside holding up A-Rod. Uh, so it seems like Cindy reveals that it was the Oceanside who killed Justin because Justin killed Beatrice's husband,
Yes.
while A-Rod killed Cindy's brother without
Mm-hmm.
mercy. And then that's when the whole turn of events of Daryl and Maggie allowing Cindy to kill the people
Right.
from the Saviors.
Yep. Yep. That's true. But I was just thinking maybe that spray paint was the whispers. That might not have been Oceanside. It doesn't seem like Oceanside style to spray paint something like that.
Yeah, yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I completely agree. It doesn't seem like Oceanside would do something like that. We could be completely wrong, but it doesn't fit their motive. And
No.
I think, and I agree with you. I think it's going to be revealed as this the Whisperers.
Whispers. I think so. I think that's going to be the. I think that's going to be the Whisperers that spray painted that
Yeah.
message on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know if we're going to see the Whisperers in this first half of season 9 or the second half. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. Uh, they might be. I think they might be punting them in, leading towards what appears to be Rick's death.
They might, or they may wait till after. I'm not sure. But they listen. They shocked us with a good episode last week. I give
Yeah.
it 8.5, a solid 8.5
Yeah, I
for sure.
completely agree. Completely agree.
It was better than the previous episode, the second
Mhm.
episode of the season.
Oh my god, those other two episodes was a chore to get through. But this episode, it's I'm gonna have to rewatch it, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, this last one was really good. The third episode, Warning
Yeah,
Signs,
and I'm
really
like,
what.
I hope they keep the momentum going throughout throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, because I was pleasantly surprised by how good this episode was.
Mhm.
And I mean, and there is so many. I mean, well, there was the answered question of who was killing the saviors, but there's the unanswered question of the whole thing with Jadis and A and B and the helicopter.
Yeah.
That's going to be something that I mean, I'm not sure how that's going to play into. You know, is that going to play into Rick's departure from the show? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Now, so what do you mean by Rick may not die?
Well, there's some speculation that he may be picked up by the helicopter instead, or whoever's in the helicopter. Well, that's just speculation right now.
Yeah, because the thing is that AMC has been promoting it as Rick's final season, as his last episodes. So I don't see I don't see them trying to, pull the wool over our eyes and not kill him off.
Hmm. I don't know. I mean, how are they going to do this? I'm not really sure. I mean, just because they say it's his final season,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean that Andrew Lincoln can't come back to direct. Now, if he wants to
Yeah,
direct an
direct
episode.
or write or even do like a
Uh,
cameo appearance, like they've done in the past, where there's a hallucination on and Rick's in that hallucination. So yeah, or maybe even a flashback scene.
right. Which, I mean, that's what they're going to do with Herschel and Sasha and Shane.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to bring them back for a hallucination scene.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, like tomorrow night's is called Be Obliged. It's directed by Rosemary Rodriguez and written
Mm-hmm.
by Geraldine and Noah.
Yeah, and I hope they continue with the momentum.
Yeah.
But the warning signs. So yeah, I think we covered the main plot in this whole thing, which was the pulling of the trigger of Maggie and Daryl turning their back on Rick and his whole vision of peace and unity within all the communities.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's going to be quite interesting to see how that plays out, leading up to Rick's final episode, which is going to be episode 5, What Comes After.
Yeah. Yeah, which is a week tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And in fact, the preview, they did promote that these are Andrew Grimes or Andrew Lincoln's final 2 episodes, or Rick Grimes' final 2 episodes. So
Now, they talked about Shane, Herschel, and Sasha. And if this is going to be Rick's final episode, where's Carl? Are they going to have Carl in the flashback?
yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Because it's going to be, here's the thing, if they don't have Carl in that flashback, it is going to be a horrible, horrible idea if they don't do that. I mean, that's the whole point of this whole show was, Rick's journey with his son, you know, trying to, get through this whole ordeal. And now without Carl, I mean, Carl has to be in it. Carl has to be in it. It's going to
Maybe
suck
there'll
if he.
be a maybe there'll be a scene with young Carl. They may not bring Chandler Riggs back, but they may have a scene with young Carl, much like we saw at the end of season 8.
That was a good scene, but if they, I wouldn't mind if they do that, but I would love for them to have, the final moment. If Rick, is bit or something, he hallucinates Carl, and Carl says it's okay, Dad, everything's gonna be all right. That would be really really great if they do that. But I don't know. I haven't heard if they go and get Chandler in there or not. I mean, you would think they would.
Yeah, that would be a good idea, but like I said, I really don't know how they're going to
Mhm.
do this. Are they going to bring in? Are they going to bring Chandler Riggs in? I don't know. There have been no indications of it, but I mean, they
Mhm.
could surprise us. They could shock us. You never know.
Yeah.
I mean, we got plenty of surprises with Better Call Saul. They knew how to keep secrets as far as bringing in people
Yeah.
that bringing in Gale, for instance. David Costable. We didn't know he was going to
Mhm.
be on there. Like there he
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I mean, they know how to keep yeah, exactly. I completely agree with you. They know how to keep us, surprised and have all these guest stars, especially with Gail and Lydia. We was
Yeah,
over the moon when we saw those two
I know.
cameos.
I
But
know.
you see, here's the thing. They told us who's going to be in it, But I wonder if they're going to keep Chandler a secret. I hope they do. I hope they keep Chandler a secret and still have him in there.
Yeah, that would be good. That I would like that. You know, I'd like to see
Mm-hmm.
if they bring Chandler Riggs in, you know, as Carl. But so yeah, tomorrow night we see that Rick and Maggie are on their way to Alexandria.
Yeah, so we see in the ending of the episode, they're going to go see Negan.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that going to be all about? Are they going to release Negan? Are they going to talk to Negan? Are they going to kill Negan? I
Yeah.
mean, they're not going to, right now, they're not going to kill Negan. Guarantee. Guarantee. Negan's not going to die.
No.
Um, and so Negan's not going to die. So it seems like they're going to go and probably release Negan and get maybe, this is my theory. Even though even though Negan killed Glenn and Maggie has it out for Negan, at this point in time, she wants to stop Rick. So she's probably going to do anything she can to stop Rick. And she might as go as low as she can and maybe get Negan on her side and have Negan help her take down Rick. You know, and then maybe after that gets done, that's when Maggie can kill Negan because she doesn't need him anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always possible. Now there is a part of the previews that they've been showing for the season have Maggie beating up on someone,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't see who it is.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, who is that, and you know what is going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know, we do know that also that Lauren Cohen. I don't know. I'm not sure if she's going to be back next season or not. If this new show, Whiskey Cavalier, that she's shooting does well,
Mm-hmm.
then she may decide to stick with that, unless she decides to do that and also come back to Walking Dead on a limited capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And that may be why they may be writing her out of the show to go to where Georgie is.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that. And, I wouldn't mind for them to do that, just to have a good reason to write her off and
Yeah.
then maybe bring her back on maybe a limited basis before they actually pull the trigger and kill her off.
Mm. Yeah. Because I was just thinking, but you know, my thing is, who's going to be the leader of Hilltop? Who's going to take over as leader of Hilltop?
Jesus is the only option I can think of. He would
He would
probably make a
he would
good
be a
lead.
good one. He would be a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
I think
Jesus.
yeah, he would be a good one. I think I think he's ready. I think he's
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah, and plus he's already Maggie's right-hand guy.
Do what?
He's Maggie's right-hand guy.
He is. Yeah, he is. He would be a good choice. Yeah, he'd be a good
Mm-hmm.
choice as far as new leader of Hilltop. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing. I wouldn't mind seeing him as leader of Hilltop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, they're going to have to follow up with Aaron as far as how he deals with his arm being gone and everything. How
Mm-hmm.
he's going to take care of Bill Gracie.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think we covered the two big plot points that's moving forward. The whole and with the A and B and who she's talking to, and then the whole conspiracy against Rick with Maggie and Daryl, and that's going forward. So yeah, I think we covered those two big plots, and I don't think we're I don't think we're missing anything. So let's get into tomorrow night's episode and some predictions.
And the good thing is, we didn't have to wait to see if they were going to resolve that plot point. They resolved it the next week. Remember, we said last week we thought they were just going to move on
drag
to
it
something
out.
else. Yeah, but thankfully they didn't do that.
Yeah, I'm so glad they didn't do that because I probably wouldn't have. I probably would have tapped out and not. But I'm still. Remember when we talked last week about leading up to Rick's final episode and then taking the break in between the two episodes and come back on the mid-season finale. We still can do that.
I'll probably wind up watching the episodes.
Yeah.
Up until episode 8, and then we can review all 3 of them.
Yeah. That we can do that.
Yep. So let's see. We're gonna have a show next Saturday and the Saturday after that.
Yeah.
Because next week is episode 4, which is The Obliged.
Yeah. So we'll have one on the 3rd of November and on the 10th of November.
Yep. The 10th of November will cover what comes after.
Yeah. And then we'll come back after the 25th, which is going to be December 1st.
Yep.
And we're going to recap the final 3.
Yeah. Up to the mid-season now.
Yeah. So I think I've already got your answer, but I'm going to ask. So the 3rd episode that kept you really intrigued into chugging along forward in this season, first half.
It did, especially the storyline with Jadis / Ann. The A and B stuff.
Yeah.
That got me interested. I was like, it's an interesting new development. It was something I wasn't expecting to see.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, ooh, this is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I said, this could, this is going to make me stick around a little bit. This is intriguing. It's very intriguing. Because we have no indication as to who she was talking to. We don't know who that is. We have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
All we know is it's a guy's voice on a satellite phone. That's all we know.
Yeah. Yeah, we find out that what Anne has been doing is trading people.
Yes, the trading stuff. Yeah.
To get supplies.
Yep.
So I'm wondering if I don't know anything about the comic books. I don't read the comic books. I just glance at some of the stuff. So I'm wondering if the Whisperers are cannibal.
Ooh.
Maybe so. Because why would they ask if they're an A or a B, if they're an alpha or a beta, or if that's what the whole A and B is referencing? Why would they ask that? And why would they need people to be brought to them and to be traded so that they can give out supplies? I'm going to go with cannibals. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah.
Even though they did that whole cannibal thing in Terminus, which I really didn't care for, but maybe they can redeem themselves with these cannibals. But go ahead, Henry.
All I was going to say was there's also a theory that maybe that's what happened to Heath, that he got grabbed by this group and that he was traded, perhaps.
Ooh, that could be possible.
Because I don't know I'm not sure if they're ever going to bring him back or not. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Because that was season 7 when he went.
Oh yeah, that was way back. I think I read somewhere that they was going to follow up on Heath this season. Let me see.
I would love if they did that. I would love if they follow up on Heath. Because all it's like, where's Heath? Where's Heath? We've been asking about that here on the show. We've been asking about Heath.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I always kept in the back of my mind because I remember he and Tara got separated.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Tara found Oceanside for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, they talked about that Heath could be back this season.
Ah.
And they also talked about that the helicopter twist could explain other missing characters like Heath.
Ooh. Well, there you go. Because I think the actor that played Heath was shooting another series.
Yeah, 24 Legacy, but that didn't get picked
That's
back
what it
up.
was. Yeah, he
Yeah.
went on 20. He was on 24 Legacy,
Mm-hmm.
and they kind of they wrote him off The Walking Dead because of that. So they could bring him back.
Yeah. So let's see here. So yeah, so predictions for tomorrow night. Well, we are. I hope that we're going to see, and I think we're going to see the continuance of Daryl Maggie's conspiracy to overthrow Rick. So I think we're going to see that. We're definitely going to see some Negan, which I'm really excited
Yes,
about.
yes, and JDM. Yeah.
Um, I hope they touch on the whole Oceanside um, killing uh, A-Rot in cold blood. I hope they touch on that too.
Yeah.
So I hope they touch on that. So I'm wondering if maybe Maggie and Daryl might get Oceanside to join in with the whole thing to overthrow Rick. Because
Ooh.
Maggie and Daryl, they let it happen. They allowed it to happen. They turned their backs.
Yeah. Yeah. It was interesting the way that they executed a rock with the spear right through the.
Mm-hmm.
Was it through the head or was it through the back? I think it was through the head.
To the back of the head.
Yeah. Yeah, this
So,
is going to be interesting to see what happens. Yeah,
you have any predictions?
yeah. There is. I think there is going to be a confrontation with Negan and Maggie and Daryl. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
there's going to be. I don't think Negan's going to die. I think it's just going to be a
Yeah.
confrontation.
Yeah, I agree. It's too soon for Negan to die because he's going to
And
play a very important role in this season.
perhaps your theory might be correct about Maggie and Daryl trying to convince Negan to join with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, I completely agree. There's going to be some sort of confrontation between Maggie and Negan, and it's going
Yeah.
to be the confrontation we've been all waiting for, guaranteed.
Mhm.
But Negan's, I'm going to mark it right now. Negan's not going to die. It's way too soon, and it's way too early.
Yeah. I don't see them killing him off right away.
Yeah, yeah,
It wouldn't make it to me. It wouldn't make any sense. It wouldn't
yeah.
make
It
any
wouldn't make
sense
any sense at all. Would not make any sense at all.
because we're about to see the departure of Rick. So why would they kill Negan? And
Yeah,
then all of a sudden Rick is gone.
yeah,
But yeah, and hopefully maybe they'll touch on some of the Jadis slash Ann
yeah.
storyline as well.
Especially with Father Gabriel and what she's going to do to him.
We do see a little bit of that in the preview. We see that she
Yeah,
uncovers
yeah, I
she
noticed
has
that.
a bucket over a walker's head, and she takes the bucket off a walker's head.
Hmm. Yeah, we see her tie up Father Gabriel just like she did with Negan.
Yep. Yep.
So that's going to be some fun stuff to watch.
Now I'm
Um,
wondering, is she going to let Father Gabriel go like she did Negan?
I don't know because
You know,
because here's the thing. This doesn't make any sense because they try to build this sort of blossoming relationship between the two, and
yeah.
now she's going to turn on him. That didn't make any sense. Why did they do the whole relationship thing if now she's going to turn on him and send him to the helicopter people? That doesn't make any
That
sense to me.
yeah. I don't know. It's very. it's an intriguing storyline, though. As I said,
Yeah, I enjoy it, but I just didn't understand why they had them seeming to be going into a relationship together, which I think would have been great to see Father Gabriel and Anne or slash Jadis in
well,
that
yeah,
relationship.
she could have. Well, she may have had genuine feelings for him, but when he followed her to the junkyard, she's like, I can't let him spoil my plans,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe that's why he doesn't.
Possible.
I'm just thinking
Could
that
be.
that's a possibility.
Yeah.
It's like she had to make a complete 180-degree turn.
Yeah.
180-degree turn. It's like things were kind of escalated when he followed her.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like you're not supposed to follow me here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she was expecting him to follow her.
Yeah.
So she had to kind of accelerate things a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. So we're not fans of The Walking Dead without addressing the big elephant in the room, which is the declining ratings that's been happening over the course of the 3 weeks since it has
Yeah.
been on air, and it's no surprise because I mean the show's been on for almost 10 years now, and we see it's definitely going to decline. I mean, we even delved into it last week where we was airing our grievances of the first 2 episodes, but they redeemed themselves. I applaud them that they did redeem themselves for this episode, but
Yes.
the ratings is still not looking good. I mean, it's still not looking good.
No, it isn't. I would love to see them turn it around, but I mean, this is a show that it's almost 8 years that's been on the air. In year terms, it's been on
Mm-hmm.
for almost 8 years. It premiered
Mm-hmm.
on Halloween of 2010.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the um, the rate of the rate of what do you call it? They're saying that the ratings now are comparable to the first season. I mean, the first season did well,
Mm-hmm.
but it hadn't really picked up a lot of momentum at that time because it was a brand
Yeah,
new show.
exactly, and you have Netflix to thank for that because they aired the first season on Netflix. People watched the first season, and then they was like, "Hey, I got to check the show out," and then that's when the ratings was boosted into the second season, the third season, the fourth season, going into the fifth and sixth, and then I have this article up. Walking Dead's fallen ratings is about to get a lot worse, and they're pinpointing that the ratings is started when they killed off Glenn.
Yeah,
In season 7, the premiere had 17 million viewers, and then it immediately dropped to 12.5 after Glenn and Abraham was killed by Negan.
yeah,
And going into season 8, the mid-season finale had 8.3 million viewers, and then immediately dropped to 6.82 in the mid-season finale after Carl died. So people are saying, well, people, these fan favorites like Glenn and Carl and Abraham being killed off is what is the cause of the whole, lower ratings. And they do have a point, and I completely agree with them because you see in the show they don't develop new characters so that when the old ones are killed off, people have a new character to fall back on, and which is their problem. Just like with Daryl, in the Walking Dead heyday, people was like Daryl's not. If they kill Daryl, we're going to riot. And yeah, I completely and me looking in is like, yeah, I can see that because they they don't have another reason to watch the show because they don't have another character they can relate to or cheer on for because they kill their favorite one off. They don't build different characters, and they rely on the same character each season and in each episode. For another example is in the Forbes article is the Fear the Walking Dead season 4 mid-season finale had 2.3 million viewers, and then it dropped to an all-time low 1.88 million after Madison died. And I saw that on social media is that they lost all interest in Fear the Walking Dead because Madison died.
That's kind of when I tapped out on it. It was the mid-season finale.
Yeah.
After that, I just gave up on Fear the Walking Dead. Yeah.
And which is sad because Morgan's in it, and Morgan is so likable.
I mean, yeah, Morgan is one of my favorite characters from Walking Dead. I love Morgan.
Yeah, that's sad to see. And I haven't even watched Fear the Walking Dead yet. But, now, considering that information, it's like, do I really want to go into this and watch it?
I mean,
And then going on.
It was a chore to watch it. The bright spots to me were Morgan and this guy John, the guy with the pearl handled revolver. I really liked him. Really liked that character. He and Morgan kind of became buddies.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that dynamic between them. That they're buddies and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I just tapped out after the mid-season.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
It had promise. I'm just saying, it had promise.
Mm-hmm.
And with bringing Morgan in was a good idea. I thought.
Mm-hmm.
I thought maybe that would kind of strengthen perhaps that show and give that show a little bit more impetus.
Mm-hmm.
But it just went downhill, especially when they killed off Madison. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
you're not the only one.
Well, they
You're
killed
not the
off.
only one that expressed a displeasure.
They killed off Nick too. They killed off her son Nick earlier in the season, which was also a letdown. Like these are two main characters who were with Fear the Walking Dead from like the very beginning.
Yeah, well, there's only one person to blame, which is Scott M.
Gimple. Yes. Yeah.
It's like everything he touches is like, it's not like the Midas touch where it turns to gold. It's like everything he touches turns to crap. Like, there's not. It's like, AMC needs to get rid of Scott Gimple altogether and bring in a new face and freshen things up. But going into this article is like it's saying that now since The Walking Dead's about to lose Rick, what's going to happen to the 6 million that's still watching? They're predicting that about 20 to 25% in drop of ratings, which is what I basically said last week. I said that I said that the final Rick episode is going to draw a lot more viewers than the episode after he dies or after the whatever they're going to do to him. He's dead. I'm going to say he's dead. That's because they're building this up to his final episodes, and he's not going to be there anymore. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's going to die. So I said last week they're going to people the episode of Rick, his last episode, that's going to draw more viewers than any of the episodes combined, and then it's going to drop from there. And they're predicting about it's going to reach under 5 million views.
Probably so. I mean, let's just see how they do this. But it doesn't. I have to say, it does not look good.
Yeah.
For their, for their bottom line. I mean, they of course they have to have they have to have a bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Let's just see how it happens. Let's just see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're saying if they are saying that that the ratings, and you're right, I think the final Rick episode is going to draw in
Mm-hmm.
quite a bit of attention,
Yeah.
and then things are just going to go downhill after that.
Mm-hmm. And it falls back on them not creating new characters, and not putting, characters in positions of where they can, you know, hand the baton over to them and take where Rick left off. It goes back to that, like I was saying with, Glenn and Abraham. People really liked them, but they didn't create other characters for other people to like, so that when they killed them off, they can have something to fall back on. That's how you got to do a show.
Yeah, I know. It has to be. It has to be. They have to bring in, let's say, I mean, they have to try and establish somebody like Jesus or somebody like Aaron or somebody like, they have to establish them
Mm-hmm.
as a character,
Mm-hmm.
as a viable character, like a replacement, because they're going to have to replace a lot of these. They're going to have to replace these characters that are leaving.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have
Yeah.
to replace uh, Rick. They're going to have to replace Maggie.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to see how they do it too.
Mm-hmm.
How are they going to? And who are they going to replace them with?
Yeah. It's like who can replace Rick? I can't think of one person that can replace him. Probably Aaron, but he wasn't, built properly to take over that mantle.
Mm-hmm.
As much as Aaron is a great character, they didn't build him properly for him to take over the mantle. And then we got Maggie, who's not going to be with us any longer. And Jesus is a perfectly acceptable replacement for Maggie.
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with that. That's one instance where they did themselves good. But as for Rick, who can take that spot? And I cannot think of anyone except for probably Michonne. But they still, she still hasn't been built properly to take over that mantle as well.
Right. Yeah. It's you're right. Who's going to replace Rick as leader of Alexandria?
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing we have to
Mm-hmm.
kind of get. We have to kind of think about that. Who's going to replace Rick?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in this article from Forbes, they said they could have salvaged this if they didn't kill Carl off last season and have Carl have that mantle. And I completely agree. I think Carl would have been a great fitting to replace his dad.
Yes, I agree.
But I still don't understand why they killed him off. I don't understand why they killed Carl off. I guess that was a Scott Gimple decision.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Scott.
Yeah, you punting all the other riders into a tight bundle. They're like, okay, how do we fix this? Scott really screwed us over. How do we fix this?
Right. Yeah.
It's like, okay, he's probably a great guy and all, but he's not as good. He's not good. He's not Vince Gilligan. All right,
No.
he's nowhere near as Vince Gilligan. At least
Uh-huh.
Vince Gilligan knows what the heck he's doing. But Scott Gimple, I don't think he understands the source material. I think that's the big problem with Scott, is that he doesn't understand the source material. And that what they need to do is replace him with someone that actually understands the source material. That's like having someone, it's like having someone write a Batman script who's never seen Batman in his entire life or never even read the comic books, and they expect him to write a script. It's just, it's you can't do that. You can't do that.
Yeah. You'd have to be. You would. It's like you would have to be a Batman fan, or you would at least have to be familiar with the material in order. Yeah, in order to write something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're just pissed in the wind.
Yeah.
Really.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, ooh. Well, let's just see what happens.
Yeah, so let's try and end this on a positive note. I am optimistic for tomorrow night's episode.
Yeah.
I hope they keep the momentum going from this episode going forward. Um, my main concern is that after Rick's last episode, my main concern is that those 3 episodes, might not be as good as this one. That's my concern.
Yeah, and I think it's a very real concern. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
how are they going? I mean, this last episode was so great. How are they going to follow it up?
Yeah.
Hopefully they will be able to
Mm-hmm.
follow it up.
Yeah.
Would love to see if they do, if they are able
Mm-hmm.
to follow it up. So, yeah, let's wait and see.
Yeah.
But I think tomorrow night is going to be an interesting
Mm-hmm.
episode, no matter who they have. I think no matter what happens
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow night.
You think anybody's going to die tomorrow night? My opinion, I don't think any of the main characters is going to die. Any of the main
No.
casts, I don't think that's out of the question.
Yeah.
There might be maybe some background characters. We definitely know there's going to be some walkers dead. I don't think any of the main characters is going to die.
Right. No, I don't think we're going to see any main characters get killed off.
Yeah.
I mean, because we're leading up to Rick's final episode,
Mm-hmm.
and if indeed they do kill him off, then
Mm-hmm.
I think they're building up. I think they're building up to that. They're building up to.
Yeah.
And I don't think they want to kill. They don't want to kill everybody off just yet. And they don't want.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to kill any main characters off just yet.
Yeah.
They want to kind of wait until the thing with Rick and see if there's a possibility of killing him off.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what they decide to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. Let's see here. So I think we covered everything. So we got 2 more episodes of the Webcasting Dead, and then we're gonna break and then be back for the mid-season finale.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, because so it's gonna be quite interesting episode tomorrow night. The Oblige, episode 4 of season 9.
Yep.
And then we get to the final Rick episode, which is what comes after episode 5. I still disagree with the whole killing him off in episode 5. I think they should have waited till the mid-season finale to kill him off, or be his final episode of what they're going to do to him. I think it's too soon for him to leave the show. But yeah, other than that, yeah. So I'm really excited for tomorrow night. I hope they keep the momentum going. And yeah, so on that note, we're going to end it here. We will see you here next week, November the 3rd, for the Webcasting Dead. Until then, between now and then, it's going to be Halloween. I am so excited. You going to do anything for Halloween?
Probably not. Most likely not.
You should dress up. You should dress up like Huel and pass out candy. That'd be great. But yeah, I'm gonna be dressed up. I'll post on Facebook my costume, and yeah. So on that note, we'll see you here next week. Good night, everybody.